Let's start with our today's session. Om Ajnanandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshuranitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Mano Bhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamaya Dadati Sopadantikam Vandeham Shri Guroho Shri Yuktapadakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamsha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitamsha हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीन बंधु जगतपते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमस्ते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानु सुदेवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभैव च पतितानां भावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे हरे. So welcome to Corporate Gita. Every Friday 1 to 2 p.m. we read and discuss Bhagavad Gita. We are currently in the 4th chapter of Bhagavad Gita and we completed 13 verses. So in this chapter Krishna is talking about his own, he's opening his biodata. So he's telling about himself. So few things we read. That Krishna appears again and again whenever there is a religion. He establishes a religion. He delivers the pious and annihilates the miscreants. Re-establish the principles of religion. So his appearance and disappearance and activities are not common. They are transcendental. The three modes don't dictate it. In our case, whatever we do, our three modes, sattvagun, rajagun, tamagun, mode of goodness, passion, ignorance, they influence us and therefore we do certain act. But Krishna is not like that. No modes can touch him. There is nothing in the karma also that can touch him. He's above karma. And many people in the past have surrendered to Krishna and they have achieved transcendental love and liberation from him. Then last time we read Krishna reciprocates accordingly and everyone follows his path. Okay. So they are on the different degrees of success on that path. Not all paths are same, but they are on the different degrees of the success. Then he talked about demigod worshippers because they want quickly, the result. Basically, the result also they want is material, not spiritual. They go to the demigods and they get that results, but they don't know that the demigods are controlled by Krishna, and ultimately Krishna is only giving. So the way to purify our inclinations is to go through this varnashram system, the four divisions of human society: Brahmana, Kshatriya,
and Sudras.
Shudras and Vaishyas, and Grihastha, Brahmachari, Grihastha, Vanaprastha, and Sannyas.
Vanaprastha and the sannyasi.
I think we discussed that. Let's see.
Yes, Drupchi.
Yeah, Varna and Ashram. So Varna is, we have some material inclination, so we need something for our material progress and our material satisfaction, right? Everyone in the when they are doing job or something, they are looking for that satisfaction. So because we are born with the three modes, we have these inclinations to act like a Brahmana or a Kshatriya or a Vaishya or a Shudra. So to allow that inclination in a favorable manner, such that we don't break rules, we do everything legally. This Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra is there, and when one follows the principles which are mentioned in those, how to be a Brahmana, how to be a Kshatriya, how to be Vaishya, and how to not be a Brahmana, like that. What activities are allowed for Brahmana, what are not allowed, how he should do certain things, like that. So all these things, the do's and don'ts, the rules and regulations, the yajnas that are mentioned, they are all defined in the Vedas. So when one follows that, slowly they become detached from this material world and they progress
Prabhuji,
spiritually.
Prabhuji, I just wanted to ask you one question. All this Varnashram system and all, Krishna only made it, or it was the other people coming, that is after descending to the earth, they started doing this.
Created by me.
Acha.
Although I am the creator of the system, you should know I am not the non-doer and being unchangeable. So Krishna says he created this.
So all this
Chaturvarnam
system has
Maya
been.
Srishtam. Maya Srishtam. Srishtam means created. Maya means I created this Chaturvarnasham system.
Mhm.
And it's according to guna and karma. It's according to what qualities one has and what activities one does, not according to birth in a family.
Mhm. So those karmas, previous birth, whatever they were, yeah, accordingly they are doing. Krishna is creating them in that, in this way, right?
So previous janma, whatever our karma and desires are,
Mm.
we get a particular type of body
Mm.
to fulfill that desires or to experience the bad karmas that we had.
So bad karmas means you'll become a Sudras.
No, it could mean multiple things, Mataji. Like sometimes some disease is there or something.
Okay.
Sometimes, in a family of poor people, like that.
Mm-hmm.
So some karma. So depending on what miskarma we did, I mean bad karma we did, various situations come. You may okay. So that is all karma. Karma is very difficult to understand. What was it? What was the exact reason? All these things, is in the department of Yamraj. He knows exactly, so he can answer. Okay.
Okay.
So yeah, so fourth system he made. Now I'll move to the our today's verse, 14th. न मां कर्माणि लिप्यन्ते न मे कर्म फले स्पृह इति मां यो बीजानाति कर्मभिर्न सबध्यते. So this is Krishna talking about himself. Okay, so there is no work that affects me. So we said na karma doesn't affect and all that. So he confirms here. There is no work that affects me, nor do I aspire for the fruits of action. So Krishna is self-satisfied. So he's not even thinking the fruit of the action. He doesn't aspire for it. So to get something, we do something, right?
Yes.
But for Krishna, it is not like that. He has everything, but still he does, so that he can set good example. Because he's a king, he's a supreme lord actually. So he has to establish religion, right? So he has to follow that religion and tell everybody this is how it is to be followed, and then everyone feels inspired to follow it. Getting?
Yes, Prabhu.
But he doesn't do it for any fruits. Or he'll get something out of it, and therefore he's doing no, because he's self-satisfied. One who understands this truth about me also does not become entangled in the fruitive reactions of the work. Interesting, right? When we understand this truth about him, that work doesn't affect him and he is self satisfied, then we don't become entangled in the fruitive reactions of work. As there are constitutional laws in the material world stating that the king can do no wrong, or that the king is not subject to the state laws. Similarly, the Lord, although he is the creator of this material world, is not affected by the activities of the material world. See, sometimes some laws are not applied to the king also, or to the prime minister or the president. Do you know which laws are not applied to them?
Um, for the king, Prabhuji.
Yeah, for the king or the prime minister, chief minister, president, some laws are not applied to them. Do you know when, where?
Tax.
No, no, tax I don't know, but traffic laws.
Mm.
If a president is going, they stop all the traffic
Yeah.
and they allow that car to go. So he doesn't have to wait and on the red and all. Even if it is the red, he has for him it is green.
Mm.
So sometimes some laws are not applied to the king or the head of the state. Okay,
Mm.
but for Krishna, none of the laws of this material world apply to him. None
Mm.
of it, because he is the supreme personality of God. But the second thing is because don't no law doesn't apply to him, he acts very erratically. Is it so?
No, Prabhuji, he
No.
doesn't.
Yeah, he doesn't act erratically. He acts according to what he has taught.
Mm. Even in Ramavatar and all, he acts like that only. He
Ah,
doesn't.
he could have told na to Dashrath, I am the supreme lord. How can you tell me to
Mm.
go to jungle? You go to jungle.
Mm.
Yeah. There is a particular verse he says,
Mm.
Shrestha. Just let me, pull it out. Let's see if I can find that word. Shrestha. Shrestha may not be superior. Uh,
Which one, Prabhuji?
hmm. There's a verse that Krishna says.
Mm.
Let's say set an example. Oh, common man.
Okay.
Yat yat achariti shrestha. Yeah, this verse. This is 21 of
It's 18th chapter.
no. I think third, maybe third. Yeah, 3.21. Yad yad acharati shrestha tat tat evetaro jana. Whatever action a great man performs, common man follow. Whatever standards he set by exemplary acts, all the world pursues.
Mm.
For this reason, Krishna doesn't act erratically. He acts very responsibly. And in 22 also he said, there is no work prescribed for me within all the three planet system, nor I am in want of anything, nor have I need to obtain anything, and yet I am engaged in the prescribed duties. For if I fail to engage in carefully performing prescribed duties, O son of Pratha, certainly all men would follow my path. If I do not perform prescribed duty, all these worlds will be put to ruination. I would be the cause of creating unwanted population and would thereby destroy the peace of all living beings. So, very serious thing Krishna is saying, right? So, this is what is responsibility, to be a responsible leader, exemplary leader. So exemplary is a big word.
Yeah, he's that's why he's going relax.
Hmm. So, so still Krishna follows, even though karma doesn't affect him, neither he aspires for any fruit. Why? Because he is setting that example. He creates and remains aloof from the creation, whereas the living entities are entangled in the fruitive results of the material activities because of their propensity for lording it over the material resources. See, living entities, they think I will lord it over the material resources. I will get gold, silver, copper, fruits from the trees, grains from the land. I want to control everything. The river, the flow of the river, because the living entity feels there is a need for him. He has to do this to satisfy his senses, to be, to satisfy his needs. So he lords over the material world. But when Krishna comes, he doesn't have to do anything. Why? Because he's Atmaram.
Mm.
Atmaram means he is satisfied
Self-satisfied.
within himself.
Yeah, self-satisfied.
Yeah, he's self-satisfied. But he sets example, exemplary acts he does. The proprietor of the establishment is not responsible for the right and wrong activities of the work, but the worker of the workers. But the workers are themselves responsible. Another explanation. Suppose in a factory, the workers make mistake,
Mm.
and then the workers are punished, right? The owner is
Yes.
not punished. The worker is punished. Get
Mm.
it? So the proprietor, the owner, he doesn't work. Why? He doesn't have to work. He has everything for himself, like that. The living entities are engaged in the particular in the respective activities or sense gratification, and the activities are not ordained by the Lord. Meaning, whatever activities we do in this world, we do it by our own will. We
Mm.
desire, and then Krishna, as a neutral Paramatma, he says, "Okay, do." Now, whether what we desire is good or not is our decision.
Mm.
But what happens is we are not strong enough, so we get influenced by bad desires.
Mm.
And then Krishna says, "Okay, you want to do that bad desire, now what to do? You're not listening. Neither you want to become devotee, nor you want to listen from the Shastras or the Guru. What to do? Go, do." And
Mm.
then whatever happens, you have to suffer.
Correct.
Like that. But for a devotee, he will ask Krishna, "Krishna, I desire like this, should I do?" Then Krishna, in the form of Guru or the Shastra, will reply, and this is so and so. So then, the devotee will think, okay, should I do, not do? Okay, let's not do. Like that. So that's how a devotee is saved. For the advancement of sense gratification, the living entities are engaged in the work of this world and they aspire to heavenly happiness after death. The Lord, being fully in himself, has no attraction for so called heavenly happiness. So he is fully in himself, so he's not having any attraction for heavenly happiness. See, when we are fully, like when we eat food, when we are full with food, and even if somebody gets ice cream or gulab jamun or whatever, whatever is your favorite sweet, will you still
Mm.
eat?
No.
No, right?
No.
Because you'll say, I am full, maybe keep it for the evening,
Mm.
right?
Yes.
Now, Krishna is full always.
Mm.
So for him, evening is not there. He will say,
Mhm.
I don't need this. I am fully satisfied in myself.
Mhm.
He doesn't even need Lakshmi also
Mm.
because he is fully satisfied. The heavenly demigods are only his engaged servants. The
Mm.
proprietor never desires a low grade happiness such that workers may desire it. He is aloof from the material actions and reactions. For example, the rains are not responsible for different types of vegetation that
Yes.
appears on
Yes.
the earth.
Yes.
Although without such rain, there is no possibility of vegetative growth. Vedic Smriti confirms this fact as follows. In the material creation, the Lord is the only supreme cause. See, Krishna is the supreme cause,
Mm.
but man is effective cause, no?
Mm.
Like that. Um, okay, okay. So the immediate cause is the material nature. See, immediate cause, but
Mm.
but which is sorry, by which the cosmic manifestation is made visible. The created beings are not of many varieties. So I'm reading wrong. The created beings are of many varieties, such as the demigods, human beings, and lower animals, and all of them are subjected to the reaction of the past good and bad activities. The Lord gives them proper facilities for the activities and regulation of the and the regulations of the modes of nature. But He's never responsible for the past and present activities. Many people struggle to understand this. And they ask God only, why are you doing this to me like that? But yeah, it's very difficult to understand also.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yeah. So, but we have to understand slowly, with our realization and devotion. In the Vedanta Sutra, it is said that the Lord is never partial to any living entity. The living entity is responsible for his own acts. The Lord only
Yes.
gives him facility through the agency of material nature, the external energy. Anyone who is fully conversant with all the intricacies of this law of karma or fruitive activity does not become affected by the results of his activities. In other words, the person who understands the transcendental nature of the Lord is an experienced man in Krishna consciousness, and thus he is never subjected to the law of karma. So when we understand these laws of karma, we don't become affected by the results. We will change our activity, will change, will not do certain things. And then when our devotion increases, then even the laws of karma don't apply to us. So that happens for a
Mm.
pure devotee. One who does not know the transcendent nature of the Lord and who thinks that the activities of the Lord are aimed at fruitive results, are as are the activities of the ordinary living entities, certainly becomes entangled himself in fruitive actions. But one who knows the supreme truth is a liberated soul fixed in Krishna consciousness. Okay, let's move forward. एवं ज्ञात्वा कृतं कर्म पूर्वैरपि मुमुक्षुभिः कुरु कर्मेव तस्मात् त्वं पुरैव पूर्वतरं कृतम्. All the liberated souls in the ancient times acted upon with this understanding of my transcendent nature. Therefore, you should perform your duty following in their footsteps. So, transcendentalist liberated people, they all knew this about Krishna. There are two classes of men. Some of them are fully polluted, full of polluted material things within their hearts, and some of them are materially free. Krishna consciousness is equally beneficial for both of these persons. Those who are full of dirty can take to the line of Krishna consciousness for gradual cleansing process, following the regulative principles of devotion service. Those who are already cleansed of the impurities can continue to act in the same Krishna consciousness so that others may follow the exemplary activities and thereby be benefited.
Prabhuji, some are fully polluted means in the sense what Prabhuji that is
They are very
uh,
materialistic. They are 100% materialistic.
materialistic. That is even that intoxication and all those comes under that.
Yeah, yeah,
Illicit sex, all those things. Okay.
yeah. So anybody can take to Krishna consciousness, and then it's a gradual process of cleansing the heart of the anarthas, lust, greed, anger. And those who are fully cleansed, like Sukdev Goswami, Pandavas, and all, they still follow the process of Krishna consciousness. So the goal and
Mm.
the means is the same. This is the greatness of bhakti. In other yoga system, karma and jnana, this is not like that. They have to follow certain thing to come to certain point. But in case of bhakti, you start from the point that you have to come finally.
Mm.
Even if you are, not pure, you will start from there,
Mm.
like that. Foolish persons or neophytes in Krishna consciousness often want to retire from activities without having knowledge of Krishna consciousness. So, neophytes. I mean, those who come to Krishna consciousness first time, or even to spiritual life, they want to
Mm.
give up material life. They have no understanding how to implement material life in spiritual life. So they just want to give it up because material life is difficult, right?
Mm.
It is difficult.
Mm.
It is very painful also. Things don't
Mm.
go our way. We sometimes have success, we sometimes have failure. When we have failure, we turn towards God and we tell God, I
Yeah.
don't want to do all these things. I want to give up everything. So Arjuna's desire to retire from the activities of battlefield was not approved by the Lord. So he also wanted to retire. But Krishna says no. You just need to know how to act. One needs only to know how to act. To retire from the activities of Krishna consciousness and to sit aloof, making a show of Krishna consciousness is less important than actually engaging in the field of activities for the sake of Krishna. So, some people, let's say, they are. very fat or they are very lazy, and they go to gym
mm,
and they keep thinking, I cannot do all these things. 1 hour,
mm,
half an hour running on that treadmill, I
mm,
don't think I can, so I'll go away.
mm,
But then the trainer says, wait, let's start small.
mm,
Instead of running, you do stepping, walking.
mm,
So 15 minutes of walking and 15 minutes of running. Like that. They start like this.
mm,
And after 1 month, 2 months, you see that person comes and he starts running half and a half. For half an hour, he's on the treadmill only.
mm,
So Arjuna wanted to desire to retire, but the Lord said, no, no, no. You just need to know how to act. When you go to gym, you don't even know how to lift weights and all that, and effectively. But after learning it under a trainer, you can lift weights very easily,
mm.
right? We see, right? We see many examples of this. So we have to
Yes,
learn.
Prabhuji.
Yeah, we have to learn. So everything in this world is like that. We have to learn. Children don't like to go to school, but teachers, they consistently teach them. And after 1, 2, 3 months, they are able to write, read. They
Mm.
also don't know how come they are not. But it's a matter of abhyasa.
And they start liking the school also.
They start
Mm.
liking the school also. In kindergarten, they keep crying.
Yeah.
But first, second,
Mm.
third, they just want to go to school. They say, I will go today, I'll play this, I'll be with my friends at this and that. They start making stories. Arjuna is here advised to act in Krishna consciousness, following in the footsteps of Lord's previous disciples, such as Sun God Vivaswan, as mentioned here. So, Sun God is acting in Krishna consciousness. He is a pure devotee.
Mm.
The Supreme Lord knows all his past activities as well as those of the persons who acted in Krishna consciousness in the past. Therefore, he recommends the act of the Sun God who learned this art from his Lord some millions of years ago. As such, students of Lord Krishna are mentioned here as past liberated beings engaged in the discharge of duties allotted by Krishna.
Prabhuji, but sun god is Lord only, no? The light, everything comes from him only, no?
No, Sun God is a demigod, no?
He's a demigod. But how he got the light? It is because of Lord only, no? He gets that light.
Yeah. He gets that light means he's able
Mm.
to produce it using his ratha,
Mm-hmm.
and
Okay.
that ability comes from the Lord.
Okay.
Like our ability and all that also comes from Krishna.
Mm.
Hmm?
Mm.
Kim karma kim akarmeti kavyo api artha mohitah tatte karma pravakshyami tad jnatva mokshaye shubhat. Even the intelligent are bewildered in determining what is action, what is wait. Even the intelligent are bewildered in determining what is action, what is inaction. Now I shall explain to you what action is, and knowing which you will be liberated from all misfortune.
Mm.
Okay. So, what is action? What is inaction? Action means any activity that we do.
Mm.
Inaction is we do that activity and then we don't get any reaction. That is called inaction.
So
Akarma.
action means the reaction also forms, Prabhuji.
Yeah. And in akarma, the reaction doesn't come.
Okay.
Just like, if you get from market peanuts, raw peanuts,
Mm. Mm.
and if you put it in the ground and water it, probably, after 1 week, a plant may come out of it, right?
Mm.
But let's say you bring the raw peanut and you fry it,
Yeah.
and then you put it in the ground.
That will not come.
Yeah. But the action is the same, right? Everyone saw.
Yeah.
You put the peanut.
Action are the same, but we are frying it so the
Hmm.
inside that seed, no, that will die.
Yes. Same thing happens. The seed of the reaction is burnt in Krishna consciousness.
Mm.
And the examples are many actually, but I'll take the example of Pandavas. They were
Mm.
pure devotees of the Lord. They were suffering not because of the activities, but because Krishna desired that they be in this situation.
mm,
So, like that. So, when one knows what is action in action, then he knows how to be liberated from all the misfortunes. Um, Another example, we have always discussed this, and Krishna is going to repeat this example. A soldier, he kills many on the battlefield, but when he comes
mm,
back, the king or the government puts a Paramvir Chakra on his neck,
mm,
saying and congratulates him, announces this person killed so many, etc., etc. And if that person goes home and he picks up a fight with his neighbor and kills the neighbor,
mm.
then what the government is going to do?
It is a sin, so he will
Yeah, it's
hang
a
him.
crime. It's a crime. So they will catch him, put him in jail.
Mm.
But then he'll say, I did the same killing. That time
No,
you didn't do.
that is a different thing. No, that is you are killing a terrorist. But in this, he's a neighbor. He's just fighting with you just for small thing, and you are killing him. So there's a difference between that and this. No, Prabhuji.
Yeah. The difference is that action of in the battlefield was ordained by the government that you and
Mm.
fight. And if he kills, the government is happy. The government doesn't put the blame on him.
Correct.
You killed. But when he fought with the neighbor, it was his personal selfish desire. So then the government says, you did it. I didn't tell you to do. You did it on your own whims. So you have to be put into jail,
True.
etc. So therefore, we have to understand that action is pretty neutral. All actions are
Mm.
neutral. It is the purpose behind the action decides. We have one slide over it. Let's see. Yeah.
Mhm.
So is the cutting the knife that action is good or bad?
Prabhuji, the first one is good and the second one is bad.
Yeah.
That is, the left one is good, the right one is bad, because the left one is a doctor who is going to operate a person, and the next one is the one person is going to kill a person.
Yeah. It is the intention that matters.
Hmm.
It is the intention, the purpose that matters.
Hmm.
Okay. Like another example, let's say we are with our friends or in the office or whatever, and some person says some bad thing to other person, and the other person feels bad about it.
Hmm.
Now let's say that same person who said bad thing, he's at home with
Hmm.
his family members and all that, and they're having a nice time,
Hmm.
and then he uses that same bad word on somebody, his brother or sister or maybe a child,
Hmm.
but they don't feel anything about it. Why?
Hmm. Because it is his own family,
No, because they
and
know
here,
that he's not meaning it. This is just a jolly thing. He's not meaning it.
hmm,
But in the office, the other
he
person
is
says that,
meaning.
yeah, he's meaning it. So it is the purpose. With what purpose one does. Na? So Krishna is telling Arjuna, Arjuna is saying, the purpose of this war is that we get the kingdom and we are able to enjoy it. I think that purpose itself is bad. Let Duryodhan enjoy so that we will save all these lives of the people. Krishna says, change the purpose. What is your duty? Make your duty the purpose. Do it in a detached way for the sake of the duty, and then offer that result to the Supreme Lord. And I am the Supreme Lord, so therefore I do what I am telling you. That is later part in Bhagavad Gita. We'll see this. Or in the 11th chapter only. No, this is fourth chapter. Na? In the 11th
Yes,
chapter, he says this. I have killed everyone. You become my nimitta matra. You become the instrument.
Virat Rupa, no, Prabhuji, that time,
Huh?
11th chapter.
Virat Rupa. So Krishna is coming to this point where he's telling him, you need to change the purpose of a action, not the action itself. Then you'll be happy. Okay, so action in Krishna consciousness has to be executed in accord with the examples of previous bona fide devotees. This is recommended in the 15th verse. Such action should not be independent, will be explained to the text to the follow. So the action should be not independent, but they should be in line with how the bona fide devotees in the past have done. And when we talk about bona fide devotees, their action, the purpose of what they are doing is to satisfy Krishna, right?
Mm.
So therefore, we change the purpose from satisfying our own self or somebody else. We are satisfying now Krishna only. To act in Krishna, that is what it means to act in Krishna person. One has to follow the authorized leadership. Sorry, one has to follow the leadership of authorized person who are in the line of disciplic succession as explained in the beginning of the chapter. Basically, one has to listen to his guru to act in Krishna consciousness. The system of Krishna consciousness was first narrated to Sun God. The Sun God explained it to son Manu, to his son Manu. Manu explained it to his son Ikshvaku, and the system is currently on this earth from that very remote time. Therefore, one has to follow in the footsteps of previous authorities in the line of the disciplic succession. Otherwise, even the most intelligent men will be bewildered regarding the standard actions of Krishna consciousness. For this reason, the Lord decided to instruct Arjuna in Krishna consciousness directly. Because of the direct instruction of Lord to the Arjuna, anyone who follows the footsteps of Arjuna is certainly not bewildered. Pretty straightforward. It is said that one cannot ascertain the ways of religion simply by imperfect experimental knowledge. Actually, the principles of religion can only be laid down by the Lord Himself. Dharmam tu sakshat bhagavad pranitam. No one can manufacture a religious principle by imperfect speculation. One must follow in the footsteps of great authorities like Brahma, Shiva, Manu, Kumaras, Kapila, Prahlad, Bhishma, Sukhdev Goswami, Yamraj, Janak, and Bali Maharaj.
Bali Maharaj.
So these are the Mahajans. By mental speculation, one cannot ascertain what is religion or self-realization. Therefore, out of causeless mercy to his devotees, the Lord explains directly to Arjuna what is action, what is inaction. Only action performed in Krishna consciousness can deliver a person from the entanglement of material existence. So can you give me a
Prabhuji, I have one doubt. Prabhuji, Bali Maharaj, he also wanted to conquer the whole of universe, no? That is even the demigod's position and all those things. That is why he was started doing the sacrifice and all those things. But at the right time, yeah, Vamana avatar came, and then he asked for the three things. Otherwise, he was also in a bad this thing only, no, Prabhuji? Bali Maharaj?
bad incense? He was in fight with the demigods.
Hmm.
He was in fight with the demigods.
Okay.
But then he surrendered to the Lord.
Yeah.
He gave Atma Nivedan.
Mm.
He himself, he said, I now belong to you by allowing the Lord to touch his head.
Head.
See, he's a king.
Mm.
And to do such a thing that to allow somebody's head, leg on your head, it's a very big thing
Mm.
for a king.
Mm.
So he did that. And he meant it. It's not like
Mm.
he did it like today's politicians. He meant it.
Okay.
He's still serving the Lord in Sutala Loka.
Mm.
In the next probably Manvantara, he is going to become the King Indra.
Mm. So
Um,
this these present Indra will get vanished, huh?
yes.
Mm.
Whether it is Manvantara or when it is, I don't know. But
Yeah, this one mantra
definitely
only
at the
there.
end of the day of Brahma, all the
Mm.
demigods go. Only
Okay.
Brahma remains and he sleeps. 12 hours he sleeps.
Mm.
So, this sentence that I'm highlighting, it is said that one cannot ascertain the ways of religion simply by imperfect experimental knowledge. Can you give me an example?
Not a certain place of religion simply.
If somebody asks you, if you see, you cannot manufacture your own steps. You have to follow what there it is in the manual or how others did or how the teacher did, right?
Yes, Prabhuji. So we can take the even the government also, no, the president and all, though we are following his footsteps only.
Yes. So in a school setting, let's say the
Wow.
students are in the chemistry lab,
Mm.
and some boy thinks I can do this myself, and then he starts mixing one or two chemicals. He says, "I know, I know, I know."
It'll burst.
Then it bursts. Yeah, we have seen these examples, right? Heard
Yes,
about
no.
them. Why? Because they
Yeah, not
they did imperfect experimental knowledge. Immediately the teacher will say, "What did I tell you to do this?" So teacher is authority, and then teacher will say, "Okay, mix this chemical A with chemical B, but not with C." And if we follow the same way, then we will get the result. Na?
mm.
Then we'll pass in the exam. Similarly, when we follow in the footsteps of Brahma, Shiva, Manu, Kumaras, Kapila, Prahlad, Bhishma, Sukdev Goswami, Yamraj, Janaka, and Bali Maharaj, how they lived in their lives, what they practiced, how they remained Krishna consciousness, in spite of being, so many controllers and king and all that. Then we definitely will get the result, na? And they are liberated. We'll also become liberated, right?
Mm.
So this is what it means. We shouldn't do experimental knowledge. We should follow. A new electronic device comes, we don't know how to use it, we just press buttons, tuck, 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 and we think okay, it works or not. But if it doesn't work, then we call the customer care.
Customer care.
So it's very simple to understand. Okay, 17th verse. कर्मणो हि अपि बोद्धव्यम बोद्धव्यम च विकर्मणः अकर्मणस्य बोद्धव्यम घनन कर्म कर्मणो गतिः गहन कर्मणो गतिः. The intricacies of actions are very hard to understand. Therefore, one should know properly what is action, what is forbidden action, and what is inaction. There are some actions that we should do. There are some actions which are forbidden, which we should not do. And there are some actions which, when we do, it becomes inaction. No result. If one is serious about liberation from material bondage, one has to understand the distinction between action, inaction, and unauthorized actions. One has to apply oneself to such an analysis of action, reaction, and perverted actions because it is very difficult subject matter. To understand Krishna consciousness and action according to these modes, one has to learn one's relationship with the Supreme. The one who is learned perfectly knows that every living entity is an eternal servant of the Lord and that consequently one has to act in Krishna consciousness. The entire Bhagavad Gita is directed towards this conclusion. What is the conclusion? We belong to Krishna and we are his eternal servant. So when we are a servant of someone, we have to serve that master now. And when we serve
Mm.
that master, we are acting in Krishna consciousness. We are acting in the consciousness of to serve the master. That is what it means by Krishna consciousness. Once we come to this understanding, then our actions, forbidden actions, inactions, everything becomes clear. Any other conclusion against this conclusion and its attendant actions are vikarmas or prohibited actions. To understand all this, one has to associate with authorities in Krishna consciousness and learn secret from them. This is as good as learning from Lord directly. Otherwise, even the most intelligent persons will be bewildered. Okay, so we have to learn from our guru what is action, what is not action. Hmm? Getting?
Yes, Guruji.
कर्मणि अकर्म यह पश्येत अकर्मणि च कर्म यह स बुद्धिमान मनुष्येषु स युक्त कृष्ण कर्म कृत. One who sees inaction in action and action in inaction is intelligent among men, and he is in the transcendent position, although engaged in all sorts of activities. Interesting. One who sees inaction in action and action in inaction. Hmm. What is Krishna trying to say in these two words?
Actually,
What does he mean in action, and action in inaction?
whatever work we do, um, whatever work we do, so
Okay,
accordingly that action will be.
let's focus on this inaction in action.
Mm.
How can we see this
The,
inaction in an action?
that is the effect of the work that we do. What is the fruit that we get? Effect
So
of
do
work
we get fruit in
accordingly
this?
good.
Do we get a
Accordingly,
fruit in this, or do we get what? Sorry.
Prabhuji, whatever work we do, we get that effect of whatever effect that we are putting on that work, we get that fruit of that work.
So
So
inaction
whatever action
means
that we are doing,
inaction means.
supposing Prabhuji,
Huh.
Prabhuji, Prabhuji, supposing if we surrender ourselves to God, accordingly our fruit or our action also will be done accordingly.
Okay, but inaction means there will be no karma to face. So how can
That
there be no karma to face when we do any karma? If I do certain karma, how can
hmm.
you conclude you won't get any reaction? Fruit is one thing. Sometimes
But
you get the fruit, but you won't get any reaction. Reaction means there won't be a karmic force behind you because you did that action. You have to
hmm,
face the situation in future. How to know inaction in action? There will be no response or there will be no reaction to your action. How to know this? You can explain with an example. Inaction in action. How do we know that there will be an inaction in this action? Let's say slap.
slap for every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction of Prabhuji, third law.
Let's say the child slaps his mother.
Hmm.
Second is
So
a
Prabhuji, when
person
one
slaps a policeman. So action is same, but
hmm,
will there be inaction or it is action?
it's action, inaction.
Which is inaction? Which is action?
The child slaps his action and his mother is in action.
No, 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 no. This whole
Uh,
activity, the child slapping his mother,
hmm,
is inaction. It is not that mother is going to come back and give him a slap. The child slapped his mother out of,
love.
huh? Or it was a funny moment and the child just slapped.
Hmm,
He didn't meant it as, externally we saw he slapped, but mother knows he didn't slap. It just happened. So there will be inaction. It's not that the mother is going to react. But if a person slaps a police,
that is an action.
that is an action. Here the reaction will be there. Or let's do like that. So so a child slaps his father, who is a policeman, in play,
Hmm.
and the same policeman is slapped by someone on the road.
So the first one is inaction, Prabhuji,
Yeah,
and the
first
second
one,
one is an action because a person he
right?
slaps some. So that is a this thing. Yes,
Okay.
Prabhuji, I can understand now.
Hmm. Now, what is this? Child slaps father in anger.
It is an action.
It's an action. Here there will be definitely a reaction.
Hmm.
So what purpose is it? Changes
Because
the
he was.
same action to inaction and action, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
This is what Krishna is saying. That we may see some action, but actually it is inaction. And we may see
Hmm.
some action in
And that will be
inaction,
inaction.
but
Hmm.
we may see some inaction, but it will turn out to be action. I'll give you one more
Hmm.
example. Like
Hmm.
where it is. Hmm. Let's say Pujari accepts donation. Okay, in temple.
Hmm.
In first case, he uses it for deities.
Is
Hmm? His deities garland or whatever.
mm,
Second is he may use it
for his
for
own purpose.
buying or for his own purpose. Okay. So technically, when you give pujari a donation, it is like inaction, right?
Mm,
But depending on the pujari, does it still remain inaction? If he uses for the deity, then it becomes inaction.
inaction. The next one will
But
be in for action.
but when he uses it for his own purpose, then it becomes
His own
action.
purpose, it's an action.
Yeah. So even though the activity may be inaction,
Mm,
technically, but the end result made it action, right?
mm,
Yeah. So this is what Krishna is saying, that sometimes in inaction activities we'll say that it is an action. Okay. There'll
mm,
be a reaction, even though one may perform some inaction, meaning an activity where one may not get any result, but his purpose was not right. So therefore he
mm,
will definitely. So therefore the whole thing failed. So he will
mm,
get an action. So when we get that intelligence to understand that some activities are action, some activities are inaction, but
mm.
are they actually resulting in inaction or action? When we get that kind of understanding, then he is
Yeah.
transcendent position, although engaged in all sorts of activities. Then
Mm,
he understands. Like that it is. Okay.
mm,
So a person acting in Krishna consciousness is naturally free from the bonds of karma. His activities are all performed for Krishna. Therefore, he does not enjoy or suffer any of the effects of work. So pure devotee, he is very much in Krishna consciousness. So he will do activities which are satisfying Krishna, like that. So he
mm,
doesn't do any wrong activity. Like the Brahmana, he accepts donation, he will use it for Krishna's purpose. He
mm,
won't use it for his purpose. Therefore, sometimes when we give donation to Brahmanas or sannyasis, we should tell, use this for the Lord. And if you want
mm,
them to be used for themselves, then we should explicitly say, this is for you. Use it for your
mm.
personal purpose. And then he will say, okay, fine. Then he can use it for his personal purpose. But when we say give it to Krishna and he's using for himself,
Then it is an inaction.
yeah. There's a very nice story which happened in Alarnath
Mm,
in Orissa. Alarnath temple is there in Puri. So there, the Lord is having four-handed form.
yes. Mm,
So there was once a Brahmana and he used to offer bhoga to the Lord.
mm,
Once what happened is he gave his son to offer and he had some work, so he went.
mm,
And the son offered, and when he came back after offering, after 5 minutes, 10 minutes, he came back, he saw, plate is still there. The Lord
mm,
didn't eat. So he started crying. He said, why did you eat? You didn't like it. You didn't
mm,
like me offering, you should eat.
mm,
He started crying. He said, Lord, please eat. And
mm,
then the Lord, out of love for him, ate.
mm,
And then the plate was a little bit empty. He took it to his mother.
mm,
Like this happened 2 3 times.
mm,
Mother said, "What are you doing? You are going inside in the DT room and eating." She thought like that.
mm,
When the husband came, the Brahmana came. She said, this is what is happening.
mm,
And then the Brahmana, he said, "Okay, let us catch him in the act. Let's not
mm,
just beat him like that." So they told, you offer the son to offer. So the son was offering.
mm,
Again, the Lord was not eating. So then he
mm,
started crying and praying to the Lord, please eat, please eat. Then after some time, Lord started eating.
mm,
And the Brahmana saw that the Lord is picking up food and eating. And the Brahmana came and held the hand of the Lord. And he said, don't eat. If you eat,
mm.
then we won't have anything to eat.
Mm.
So, so, so we can understand that Brahmana was supposed to be in a pure devotional service, but because he is
Yes,
not in pure devotional service, he couldn't appreciate that
really,
whole situation. But his son was in pure devotion.
be pure devotional.
Ha. So the action may be, oh, he's a religious person, he's very nice. But the
mm,
purpose with that makes the whole difference.
mm,
In that we will see inaction. In that we will see action.
mm.
So the Brahmana had some desires. It is like that. So therefore he
Prabhuji,
stopped
this
them.
has happened really only?
Yeah, yeah, this has happened really.
Okay.
I read in one children book written by a
Okay.
devotee.
Okay.
So I told the same devotee.
Mm,
Now the same story happened in Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's time also.
mm-hmm,
And it so happened that the father was also a devotee. And the
mm,
son was also a great devotee. His name was Raghunath.
mm,
Raghunandan. I think Raghunath, some Raghunath, yeah, Raghunath only. So then the father appreciated Raghunath, his
mm.
devotion. And then once, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu asked, are you his father or he's your father? Then
Mm,
he said, no, no, he's my father because he's a pure
mm,
devotee.
mm,
Like that. So,
mhm,
yeah. So, point is, devotees and spiritualists, they may do the activity, but the purpose behind it makes it inaction or makes it action.
mm.
Like that. Okay. Let's finish up this. What are we doing? Okay. Yeah. Action in action. Okay. Consequently, he's intelligent in human and society, even though he's engaged in all sorts of activities for Krishna. Akarma means without reaction to work. The impersonalist ceases fruitive activities out of fear. So impersonalist says, I don't want to do anything only because something will come back. So let me not do anything. Then nothing will come, right?
Yes.
So that is what the impersonalist thinks. But a personalist, he knows how to do the things rightly. So he will do the activities correctly. He won't
Mm,
fear. So the resultant action may not be the stumbling block on his path of self-realization, but a personalist knows rightly his position as the eternal servitor of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Therefore, he engages himself in the activity of Krishna consciousness. Because everything is done for Krishna, he enjoys only transcendental happiness in the discharge of his service. Those who are engaged in this process are known to be without desire for personal sense gratification. The sense of eternal servitorship to Krishna makes one immune to all sorts of reactionary elements of the work. When Krishna entered Dwarka,
mm,
he asked one dhobi to give clothes.
mm,
That dhobi said, no, why should I give you?
mm.
Then Krishna killed him.
Killed him.
Yeah,
Why, Prabhuji?
because he rejected Krishna's demand. Krishna is
Mm,
Supreme Lord. You don't listen to me? Go.
mm,
Then he went inside. Then a flower person he came. He gave him flowers. He didn't ask anything. Give me money or something. No, he just gave him.
mm.
Krishna was pleased with him and then blessed him. This is there in Bhagavatam.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Maybe we should just spend a little bit. Where is Krishna book? Go. Yeah. Krishna enters Dwarka. Not Dwarka, Mathura. Krishna enters Mathura.
Mm,
Wonderful Krishna. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Washerman.
mm,
So when Krishna was not a beggar,
mm,
nor was he in need of clothing. But by his request, he indicated that everyone should be ready to offer Krishna whatever he wants. That is the meaning of
mm.
Krishna consciousness.
Yes.
Unfortunately, this washerman was servant of Kamsa. He could not appreciate. So he said, no, I am not going to. How is it that you are
Mm,
asking for this clothing?
mm,
On hearing this, Krishna became angry.
mm.
He separated the man's head from his body.
Mhm.
Like that.
Okay.
Then they went to a florist. His name was Sudama. The florist immediately got up, great devotion fell on his face to offer respectful obeisances. He offered a nice seat to Krishna and Balram, and then brought out flowers, betel nuts, pulp. Then he offered prayers. Then Krishna replied. Krishna replied, it is. Krishna offered florist salutation and benedictions. He said, which is he is always prepared to bestow upon surrendered souls. Like that. So Krishna blessed him.
Mm.
So what are we discussing? Yeah. So
I think.
when we become devotee, then reactions don't affect us. The florist didn't think, oh, Kamsa will kill me or something. He said, Krishna has
Mm.
come, I will give. Right?
Mm.
And then he satisfied Krishna. And then ultimately Krishna killed Kamsa.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So it is 2 p.m. Any questions or comments?
Okay, Prabhuji, you have explained it so nicely. I don't think so. There is any questions.
Okay. Okay. So let's meet next week and we'll continue with 4.19. Okay.
Okay,
Thank you very much.
okay,
Hare
Prabhuji.
Krishna.